joining us.
Hello, Rūdolfs.
How are you?
I'm good.
Greetings to your husband Hando, who's taking care of family matters, as I understand now. But well, thank you for this live interview for me here in YouTube, and I'm also live in TikTok. And this, for me, well, is long. It's going to be a long day and long night because I'm following the American elections. Today is gonna be decided Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. I know that you are skeptical for both of them, as Hando told me, but
Yes.
but nevertheless, we still hope it's gonna be Trump because he's more of a symbol, even though maybe it is a theater. Who knows? We don't know that, but it's more like a symbol here in Latvia for more freedom of speech and better things than what Kamala Harris is already saying, that all this whatever matter you take LGBT propaganda or everything else. The question I wanted to ask you shortly, we can touch this and then continue with more local matters, is how is media showing this in Estonia? Because in Latvia it's been in one, so to say, only one option. All our mainstream media is just saying how great Kamala is and how bad Trump is, and that she will win. Definitely, all the polls, which are probably fake, are showing that yes, Kamala will win. And I don't know why they care about our opinion, but they are making sure that everybody in Latvia loves Kamala and everybody hates Trump. That's at least how it seems their goal. What is Estonian media saying about this election?
Well, of course, they are in favor of Kamala, but they are also saying that Trump has pretty good chances to win. So it's not as pro Kamala as in Latvia, it seems.
Yes, yes. Here it's very pro Kamala, and that's actually one of the. I know that it will not change much for Latvia in general or for Baltics, whoever wins. The one of the few, I guess, reasons personally why I want Trump to win is just so all of them can shut up and hear, because all these opinion leaders, these experts, the same ones actually who were pushing through COVID and the advertising, vaccination, and everything. These same experts, literally same people, are now for Kamala and how important this is for Latvia. And for God forbid Trump wins, we all will be in chaos and everything. So that's why I want them to
Yeah.
please
Well,
shut up at least.
in Estonia, it's if you have a like private news channels, then they are more pro Kamala. If you look at the national news, national TV, they are also pro Kamala, but they are like more balanced. They also say that many of the like it's possible that Trump wins and blah blah blah.
All right, interesting. All right, but anyways, so what's new in Estonia? What are the most actual topics at the moment for you guys?
Well, of course, the tax rises. We are getting new taxes, which
What are they? What are the new taxes?
I think one you already have is the car tax.
Okay. Is
Uh,
it
and
so?
also
So how much were what was the situation before? Like when you do this technical checkup, did you have it every year or every 2 years?
it depends on a car.
How new it is, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, like for us here, they only give 2 years if it's a brand new, really, from the car dealership once, and then it's every year. For you, is similar or
I
different?
think it's similar, yes. But now, before we didn't have it, but now if you are buying a car, then you have to pay a car tax. And
Which is, for us, it's already a couple of hundred, if
yes,
not in many cases, depending on the engine size, it can be close to 1,000 or even more euros per year. They call it
yeah,
the road tax.
yeah.
and the money is supposed to go to the roads for fixing the roads, but actually it's not directly like that. It goes in the one budget, into state budget, and then they can decide whatever they can, what they want to do with the money. But what is interesting, we had this discussion a few, actually some a month and a half or 2 months ago. Also, they tried to push another car tax on top of us already, which we have. And that was based on kilometers which you drive. So, for example, whenever you do this technical checkup every year, they will look at the odometer, how many kilometers have you driven throughout the year, and for each kilometer, extra tax. But that's the society quickly kind of, well, they did it as a test in the media. They pushed this idea a little bit, but then the society was, oh, come on, this is crazy. And they kind of said, well, don't worry, this was just some wrong idea or something. So they were testing it actually. So that means at some point they will have it.
Yeah, of
But
course.
so is it in force already, or when it start in Estonia?
It will start next year. So I think from January.
Yeah. And how do people feel about it?
Oh, they hate it. And actually, we had like a petition this year, and about 70,000 people signed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like the biggest petition we've ever had, at least in last years. And still the government basically said fuck you to the people, and they're still doing the law.
Really? So very interesting. For us, we had another kind of hot topic was that we found out, well, it was already before, but we found out that we have this page where you can look up your property cadastral number, and you can see that from January 1st, it will be many times higher, like the value. Let's say you have an apartment or a piece of land, and now you had one value, and in January 1st, it will be like 2 to 7 times higher. Can be depending on the place, but it can be 2 to 7 times higher. And again, they said, now, don't worry, this will not affect your tax because we pay tax from this value. And they said, don't worry, this is not for the tax, this is for some other matter. For example, when the state needs your land, and then it's beneficial for you that the value is higher when they take it, so they compensate you. But there's nothing said about what will happen in 2026 or especially 2027, because now next year we'll have these municipal elections, so they will not raise the tax there, and possibly not in 27. Well, not in 26, because then we have the parliament elections, and once they are over, they can easily adjust this new value to the tax. So that means if somebody is paying a couple of hundred per year now, which is already not small money for many people, but then it can easily become a couple of thousand per year for tax for property. And that means, and this goes very well with Klaus Schwab, that you will own nothing, because if you have to pay a couple of thousand euros per year for a piece of land or whatever property, house, then of course you start to calculate it's easier to rent, why bother, and so on. And they fixed the laws so that this authority that can easily take away your property if you don't pay this tax for 3 months. So if you don't pay it for 3 months, they make an auction, they sell it off, they give you the difference, and that's it. Thank you. And many people don't realize this, how dangerous it is, because I mean, you easily can miss this payment accidentally, even or not being careful enough, and there you go. And in 2030 they will raise it again 2 to 7 times. So we have this very, very dangerous situation.
Yeah, I know. In Estonia, they also want to raise the property tax, and the other thing they want to raise is VAT. We used to have it 20%. Now this year it's 22, and next year it will be 24.
Also, they will raise it twice now.
Yes.
2 times. So now at the moment you already have the 22?
Yes, and from next year we will have it 24. It's crazy.
Okay. Because we have 21, and they, of course, this topic was also there. They spoke a lot about it, but they were afraid to do it because, again, for elections, but they are talking about it as well, and they are mentioning this good Estonian example that look at Estonians, they did it, and we are like these medieval Latvians that don't want to be modern and progressive.
But do they also talk about all the bankruptcies in Estonia?
No, of course not. Well, they don't talk a lot about Estonia because many things economically you are doing better on paper and actually in practical life as well. What I saw myself when I was in Estonia a few months ago and met you guys. But no, they don't. They only select what they want to tell us, and so they have found out this. Usually, we were the ones, people were saying, why are things bad in Latvia, look how good in Estonia, but now they're saying, well, look, yeah, you are right, so we should follow Estonians, we should raise it, but the question is, for Estonia, where is the money going from the budget? How are they spending it?
Well, this is a good question. They are now saying that it's all for the to avoid the war.
So it goes to military.
Yes,
But
basically.
what are you doing military? Are you buying like new stuff, weapons, or what are you doing?
Well, they want to buy new weapons. They want to make sure that the U.S. troops are here and all the other, friends.
Yeah,
It's
but what does it have to do with money, though? NATO. I mean, this it's very like for us. They are now confirming the new budget, and they have declared that this is a security budget. Like before,
yes, in
they said
Estonia
it's
too. This is a security budget, and everything. Basically, all the taxes are just for security.
yeah.
Yes.
But it's very strange because they're saying that Ukraine should join NATO so that it's safe for them. But we are already in NATO, and they make us feel that it's not safe being in the NATO anyways. So what's the point then?
I don't know. It's strange.
Obvious.
Basically, at least in Estonia, they spent billions of euros for all the COVID measures, and of course now they need more money, but they say it's for war.
But what about when they're talking about this car tax? Aren't they saying that it's for the green planet and all this green stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is all for the climate, but all the other taxes are for security.
Well, here they're trying to push this through that we are almost we sometimes feel that we Latvians are the ones who pollute the planet the most because they're saying that we should take care of it. Otherwise, we'll burn or something. It will raise temperature. But I mean, we're so tiny on the global scale. All Baltics together taken, it's nothing. It's basically nothing. Plus, we are very green. We have all these trees and forests and a very small industrial production. In the case of Latvia, probably close to zero by now. But so we're not polluting actually at all, I would say, compared to India, China, America, but not European countries. So, but they're trying to say that yes, this is super important.
Yeah, it's the same in here. So basically, I think it's the same in Latvia, that they are just trying to please the European what are these?
Commission.
Yes.
Commission. But okay, at the same time, they are now trying, and we are taking very active role against this. They are trying to build 3 already by now garbage burning factories, where basically they take the garbage and burn it and produce heat from this, or electricity as well, I guess. And could be fine if it was only Latvia, but these factories, and 2 of them are planned to be quite large. And of course, they are in Riga, near the suburbs, where the suburb houses are. People didn't know about this, and now next to your suburb, you would have this. And to be the business model to be effective, they need a lot of garbage. Latvia cannot produce that many, and they will be importing it from Europe, from other countries. I don't know, by trucks, by trains. Like one of these factories, you need every 5 minutes, you need a new garbage truck coming in. So it can 24 hours operate and be effective and have a surplus in business. So we have become, or are about to become, like a place where Europeans can dump garbage here in Latvia. And that's why actually one of the places is next to this Rail Baltic track. And we think some people in Latvia here think that that's why actually they want to build the Rail Baltic, so they can bring by train garbage to Latvia and burn it here. And sounds very crazy. And people who live there in these areas are actually, thank God, they are against, and thank God they are organized and are kind of now stopping this, because the municipality needs to confirm it. And people say, don't even try. If you confirm something like this, we will vote you out. But I mean, time heals everything, and they're still pushing it anyway. And I think it's going to be a hard battle. Do you have something like this as well, a garbage burning factory?
I think in Estonia they are more talking about military purposes, or also mining, because we have like these not coal, but anyway, mining. I will.
This shale coal, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is what people are talking about regarding Rail Baltic. But the thing is that they are already like building it basically in here.
But what they're saying, that you will be digging this shale coal and exporting it to Europe by this train?
Yes, this is not what the government is saying. This is what people are thinking.
Okay.
Because right now they are starting like the test drillings, and there was just a protest against these drillings on Friday. And yeah, it's a big big battle in media about all this drilling. But yeah, they are building like the bridges and different stuff for Rail Baltic already.
But here it's kind of stopped, I think, because we don't have money for it at the moment. And that's why they want as well. That's why they were talking about to raise these taxes so that we can finance that, because Europe is not giving anymore. Whatever Europe gave, we already spent it. And it's turned out that we spent it on the things that were not confirmed by Europe. Like in Riga, they built like in the central station, didn't finish it, but they tried to build like a new station, this huge one, and a bridge, but they stopped it, so it's now halfway, and it's like a ghost monument. Will stay for I don't know how long, because that was not supposed to be done by European money, but they did it, and so now they're in trouble, and that's why they want. But anyway, yeah. So taxes is critical, but people don't really understand it here, I would say, because I mean, if they raise this VAT tax only by 1%, there's going to be a huge effect on everything. Prices will not go up by 1%; they will go up by a lot, because it's accumulating in that sense. Yeah.
Of course, you can see it in Estonia because the prices have risen so much, and already all the shops are saying that people don't have that much money anymore. People are buying less and less every month. And I don't know what's going to happen next year when they raise the taxes again by 2%. So it's going to be very hard on older people and people with less money.
But do you have scandals, small scandals, when people find out that they have spent the money, like government has spent the money on some total bullshit with super expensive stuff which nobody needs? Like, do you have every now and then something like that coming up? Because we have that.
Yeah, we have also, yeah.
Or super high salaries for not directly civil servants, but the ones who work for like state-owned companies or agencies.
Oh, this is a really big thing in Estonia, because they really have big salaries, and also the salaries are rising every year.
But how big? I can tell you the biggest ones we found out this year was actually for Rail Baltic. This company, they state-owned agency, that are supposed to be coordinating Rail Baltic. It's like 300 people, and
Mhm.
for the board, all board members, it's like 10 of them or something, 16,000 euros per month, and for the chairman of the board, 22,000 euros per
Wow.
month.
I don't know actually the salaries for our Rail Baltic people, but I will find out.
But yeah, we have, like, whenever
Mhm.
there's a board, there's at least 10,000 minimum
Mhm.
salary which the board will get. And now
Mhm.
they just confirmed the new media board. So another, like, a fake agency that will
Mhm.
supervise the media. For us, it
Mhm.
means they will probably coordinate the censorship.
Mhm.
But again, 5 people, salary for board members like 9,600, and for the chairman 10,100 per month. So that means like a half a million
Mhm.
euros more every year just
Mhm.
spent on salaries plus everything else.
Yeah.
So they want to mainstream somehow the media by having this new board.
Mhm.
And the lady who got this position was before the head of MTG Baltic, like TV3 group. So
Mhm.
can you imagine from the private sector coming to
Yeah.
this super high salary in a public sector?
This is crazy. I wanted to ask you what happened to the Riga statue.
Oh, nature had its finger. We had this super storm, which by compared to tragic events in Spain was nothing, of course. But this, I don't know in which years. I remember I was a small kid, and I always had this idea that this sign is made from like a stone.
Mhm.
And then once I asked my mom and dad or dad to stop on the way and check it, and I checked it. It was like from metal and with empty
Mhm.
inside. But it's still quite heavy and large, anyways. But it's coming from Soviet times, so at least 40 plus years this sign has been there. And now the wind blew off the letter G.
Mhm.
So Riga lost the G spot, but that people were joking. But actually, people saw this as a very symbolic thing to the corruption in Riga City Council. That they, first of all, they cannot maintain even the biggest symbol of Riga, which is this sign,
Mhm.
and they didn't do like I posted the video at night because somebody, actually, it's very funny. A speaker of the parliament, former speaker of the parliament, was driving by at night when it happened, and he filmed it and he posted it. So I took his video, I gave credit to him, and I posted because I thought in the morning it will be gone, like they will fix it. So I thought, well, I almost went there at night myself, but I was too lazy and it was too
Mhm.
late. But no, nothing happened the next day. It was standing there like that, and people went there to film videos and make nice TikTok jokes about it. So only, I guess, like 24 hours or something later, they fixed it finally. They temporarily they put it back, like, which is
Mhm.
like a 5 minute job. But again, it showed like the priorities of the Riga City Council, that they cannot even fix it immediately at night when it happened. But anyway, that people saw this as a symbolic sign of our corruption, that everything is falling apart.
But what do you see in Latvia generally right now? How are people doing? How are they feeling about the government?
Well, depends whom you ask. If you ask the Kamala Harris fans, they will say that it could be much worse. What are you talking about? Look at Africa. Look at Moldova. We are doing fine. Don't worry. Everything is good. We are democratic and in Europe and everything. And you have food on your table, even though it's not the case in many cases, because they actually, well, one of the things they did cut from the budget was these free food packages to not so to people who are not doing well enough.
Mhm.
So they cut it now. So they, instead of like 2 packages per month, they will have only 1 package per month with less
Yeah.
products in it. So that was what the thing that they cut from the budget. But so these people will say that, yeah, look, do you want war in Ukraine? Thank God we don't have missiles flying over. So the economic situation is not important at all. You're alive. Basically, you should be happy that you are alive. But if you talk to others who analyze it more and who travel, especially, you can go to Estonia or Lithuania and feel this already. But if you go to Poland, for example, and I was in Lithuania, and they were saying, "Oh, how great things are in Poland, and how bad is Lithuania." Or I'm not talking even about like Germany, France, or Luxembourg. If you compare that economic level, of course, it's a huge difference. Pensioners have many of them think they have nice pensions, but compared to European countries, it's nothing. And they don't have like two cars in the garage and a couple of €100,000 in bank account for safety pillow. So we have to compare. We're not in Africa, even though I imagine African countries, at least some of them, are doing better off by now. I think in many fields than we are, but we're not there. We are in European Union, in OECD, in NATO, all these nice organizations on paper, right? They sound so progressive and most advanced in the world, but and then we are one of the poorest. In that sense, but of course, if you live here only and don't travel, you don't feel it because you cannot compare. And then they say in the media almost every day that you should be happy that you're alive and we don't have a war, even though they're scaring with the war anyway, that it can happen any minute. But not happy. People are not happy, but they also have lost some sort of hope because they're tired with this, that they had hope like 8 years ago or 4 years ago, or when we had the election cycles, or 2 or 3 years ago. They had these hopes that the new whoever will come and fix something, but whoever was elected from this sort of opposition, they stayed in opposition, even though they are elected, but they are in opposition anyway. So they cannot do much. They can only criticize further. They cannot fix things because they don't have any power. And that gives people some sort of a false depression, because they think, look, we voted you in, and nothing changed. You're the same as them. And they don't understand really fully that you need more. You need more percentage, more votes, more power to actually kick out the bad ones, or do something. And then they kind of drops. And we will try to fight this and encourage people and say, come on, guys, let's kick out these bad guys at least. Because by now in Latvia, and people ask me, well, what will you do if you will get there? I say that there's no need for a plan, actually. I compare this situation to a sinking ship like Titanic. And if the ship is sinking, first you need just to stop this leakage, close it with something, fix it, and then get rid of the water. And once that is done, you can start planning how to paint new paint in the rooms, or make a new dining room. But people here many times they ask, well, what will your plan be? At this point, I say the best thing that could happen to Latvia, or in general in Baltics, I guess, is to stop all this bullshit that is coming from abroad. At least some of these issues you stop, it's already a much, much better situation. For example, whatever, the green tax, or the reforms that they're doing, they're closing schools, for example, because they're saying there's not enough money and not effective. So people should drive to the kids should be driven to bigger cities for schools. And this is totally wrong. It's totally wrong, because actually the school should be there and everything else should be done so that the kid can go to the school close to his house, not vice versa. Like, the kid's not supposed to be convenient to the state. The state is supposed to be convenient to the families. So that kind of things you at least need to stop a lot. And especially these taxes, if you stop and cut a lot of spending, like real spending, they cut these salaries, cut these boards, at least, which we don't need, then you have extra money. You don't need to push it from the people, from the taxes. But there, nobody cares about it. They have made this huge state apparatus. We are, I think, by far bigger than you in that sense. We have almost like 300,000 people are working for the government, either state state or municipal. It's biggest one in European Union percentage-wise. Even the mainstream media, like 5-6 years ago, did a study on this and confirmed that yes, we are the biggest. We should do something. So, but these are the very loyal voters to the government, the current power, because they work they vote for their bosses basically. Whoever is the minister in that field, they vote for that party, or they watch the media. They're very loyal. So we have created, like in Hunger Games, this big kind of army of civil servants that protect the head or the mother bee, and police, army, everything is in there, and they are fine. They have stable salaries. They don't have these huge salaries which you get these political appointees in these boards, but they have stable. They don't risk with anything. I remember 20 years ago, working for the state was considered as a very low prestige thing because everybody knew that you're getting a super low salary. You're poor. Now that has changed. Now it's more, they get more than having a private business if it's not super successful, because it's hard to earn money. But for these guys, they are used to that. It just comes in your account in this Excel file in the budget in your ministry and whatever, and it comes every month. There's no stoppage. But I wanted to ask you about money. Are you borrowing? Because we are borrowing super a lot now. Our debt is already surpassed 20 billion euros. It has doubled in the last 10 years, especially in COVID time. They discovered that it's super nice to borrow money. And there we always look at Estonia. I don't know how it is now, but you have the much cannot even compare. You had like close to zero. You had maybe a couple of billion, I think. I might be wrong.
Yeah,
but
it all escalated during the COVID, and after that, I don't even know the sums anymore. But yes, we used to be like really
self-sufficient.
Yeah, but this all changed during COVID.
So they started to borrow also during COVID.
Yeah.
So, but now they like all these problems, or even this security what you guys need, they might then just simply borrow it.
It's possible, but right now they're really pushing all the taxes. I wanted to ask you also, is Latvia also starting now a climate ministry? Because in Estonia it has been a couple of years.
Yes, I asked Hando because one friend asked me to check in Lithuania and Estonia. I found out that in Lithuania they don't have it yet, but for us it's also 2 years already. They did it. It was very interesting. They did it as a surprise. Next day after the parliament elections, which we had 2 years ago, literally, they had zero talk about. Nobody mentioned even this phrase, climate minister, nowhere. And once the new parliament was elected, the ruling party of the prime minister of that time immediately said that this is one of the topics which we will now be figuring out, because who will be the minister and so on. And so we have it for 2 years plus. We have no idea what it's doing. We have zero understanding. It has like at least they started with 60 people in the ministry. I don't know how many people are there now, but nothing. Maybe a few interviews when talking about this climate change, that how important it is. We've seen him in TV, this minister, but we have no idea. Like at the beginning, people thought that this will regulate, like that we will get lower electricity costs and free energy or something or whatever. It's going to be good for people, but no, nothing like that. So we don't know what the ministry is doing. Do you know what your ministry is doing?
Well, they are really active and they are participating in many things like electricity, even the car tax, and what else? Rail Baltic, of course. So they are basically talking about everything. They're really active.
They might be talking, but what they are actually, in theory at least, what they are doing, I don't even understand. Like, what can you even do?
Of course, this is another topic. This is very vague in here also.
Yeah, so And I think Robertus told me that they will make one in Lithuania as well, because they just had the elections recently, I guess, and so probably they will do it as well at some point. And this is probably coming. It's not our idea, obviously, because
Of
then they
course.
wouldn't we wouldn't have it at the same time, and we wouldn't come up with such a stupid initiative, but basically it is. So that means again we are pushing some globalist agenda, which has been told by somebody for us to do.
Yes, of course. This is clear for everyone, I think.
Well, and this car tax is actually another step towards this, that you will own nothing, because here in Latvia, in Riga especially, already, if you have a car, everywhere is parking is for money now. Almost even further from downtown, they're making these meters that you can pay with your application. You have to pay this large tax when you do the technical checkup. You have to have insurance, which is also has risen high. These two type, Casco and this
Yeah.
Octa, we call it. So it's basically two insurances you need, and then fuel costs, of course, and then you at some point start to think that yeah, it's easier. We have these car guru, these car share companies that you just need the application, you scan it, and the door opens, and you can drive the car. It's fuel filled up with fuel already, and you can drop it, you can park it anywhere for free. So it's okay. It makes you don't want the car. And I've spoken to some young people, and I remember when we were growing up, it was like, oh, my first car, it will be like a great achievement to get any kind of, like, even an old car, it would be great to have. Now
Yeah.
kids don't have such goal that the car is something special that you actually look forward to.
Yeah,
And
it's the
plus,
same.
everywhere these Bolt scooters, and I think this also is not a coincidence, and this it will make you don't want your car. And whenever a lot of people will be carless, then they will be dependent on these car share companies, corporations.
Yep, that's true.
But how are your new deputies doing in the European Parliament that just elected a few months ago? In Latvia, we don't feel them at all. One is from the opposition, so to say, only one. But he's been making some videos, but nothing too serious. But at least we have that. But the rest of them, oh, by the way, the rest of them, they voted for that Europe should allow that. What was it? That Europe or Ukraine should attack Russia with missiles inside Russia. So they voted for this, and this was a kind of strange vote. As even the Russian speaker, we have one who used to be opposition, sort of, when we were more stupid, but now we see that's not opposition at all. Even he voted that we should do it, and it's very strange for him as an ethnic Russian. He voted that there should be sent missiles and bombarded in Russia, which is his ethnic home country, so to say. So, but nothing. But other than that, nothing. They kind of we lost them. Like they are, we don't know what they're
Well,
doing.
it's the same in here. They are just like maybe also because they're just starting. Although many of them were re-elected, but it's been really quiet. So I don't know anything about that yet.
Yeah. So it's over. Well, anyways, what
Yep.
else? What else you want to ask me or something?
Well, right now I think I'm out of time, but we should do it again, like
By the way,
maybe
by
around
the way,
Christmas time.
yes. But by the way, this one more last matter, because we talked about this small kid who died from diphtheria.
Yes.
It's actually strange, but they tried to. We found out that even in Germany, they tried to make a diphtheria case. Like
Really.
this was, so this was not coincidental. This was again coming from somewhere. I looked up actually in the world media what's going on. I found out that they were scaring Estonians as well by this case, saying that, well, look at Latvia, they have diphtheria, that you
Yep.
should vaccinate the kids and stuff. But I found also that in random countries globally, I also popped up this matter and copy paste, like in COVID times, these articles. It was in some Caribbean islands, in several African countries, of course, in Ukraine, which is interesting. They also had this topic that it's a huge thing, and so on. Oh, by the way, speaking of Ukraine, we have another interesting development. We found out, our police found out that there's a huge drug narcotics factory and operated by Ukrainians here in Latvia. So they arrested them. And then they just caught this week, I guess, or last week, they caught that there's two type of things. The one was with a minivan painted as a police car. They were bringing refugees, I guess, coming across the border, immigrants, transiting it. Ukrainians again, and now this week they caught, last week they caught another minivan painted as a border police, border patrol minivan. Again, Ukrainians organizing this. So we have Ukrainian crime developing here in Latvia, but I guess they're just doing business.
Of course, it's just business. This is so crazy. So we'll see how it goes, but yes, it's gonna be really interesting and tough next year. So I hope it's easier on Latvians.
Well, and I'm still a positive thinker about this tonight's results in America, that if Donald Trump wins, at least there might be some, at least moral joy. I think people will get more inspired, even though it might be a wolf in a sheep's coat.
Yeah,
but at least the first, at the beginning, the emotional moral joy will be bigger than the depression if we see that Kamala
I can
wins.
agree on that. Yeah, we really need the moral joy.
All right, Miriam, it was nice talking to you.
Yes,
Say
nice
hello to
talking to you
Kando,
too.
and see you soon again.
Okay, see you. Bye.
Bye bye.